Live at Onigashima. I'm Jimmy.
I'm Anthony, and today we got chapter 1109, Termination, and holy shit, is this a big one. This one's cool. I feel like a lot happened, even though it was like a lot didn't happen in this chapter.
Yeah, I feel like so much happened, but it was just Vegapunk babbling the whole time.
Yeah.
But I just want to touch up on this cover story real quick. We get to see Onigashima submerged in water under Wano, which is really cool because this could lead to a lot of different places. Like, I mean, this implies we're getting some type of Wano cover story, which I like.
Yeah, it was kind of, I mean, it seems to be sequential with like the other cover stories, because like after Whole Cake, like we got the whole Germa cover story thing, like the Mads cover story, so that was cool. So it makes me think, like, what's the next thing we're gonna see in this story? So I
wonder if it's gonna relate to Pluton in some way. I mean, we did just see Caribou last chapter talking about the ancient weapons, and we know Pluton is here underneath Wano, so
and we talked about it before, but I think that, you know, part of Blackbeard's like master plan that he's going on now is that, you know, if Caribou's gonna tell him about the ancient weapons, then he might go to Wano, and so that might happen in this cover story. Maybe we see Yamato and Momonosuke try to defend Wano here.
That's true. I mean, we did see Blackbeard make his last move in a cover story, so why not here?
Right, exactly. So another thing that it kind of instantly brought me to was, if we're gonna be seeing kind of the aftermath of Wano, maybe we're gonna get a lot of these questions answered here that we didn't get in Wano. So I know, you know, I don't know if we had ever talked about this on the channel, but Wano was considered the city of gold at one point, right? Like, what happened with that? Maybe we'll get some connections.
We also never really
Shandora.
see how they get sea stone either,
right.
And that was one of the big things about Wano. It's like the only place in the world where sea stone can be generated. So I wonder if we get that also.
Yeah. So I want to get a little bit more into that, and I have a theory brewing with in regards to Big Mom's reintroduction to the story. If she is still alive, we'll see.
I think she's still alive.
But this, you know, we're under Wano, so we might continue to go into the depths of the magma and kind of like see from here what's going on. We might see what happened with that volcano eruption. But let's get into the chapter, because I can talk forever about this kind of thing.
This is just a lot of speculation for the cover story. Chapter starts right where we left off. Vegapunk talking to everybody. He's going on about, hey, look, we got to tell the world this to Shaka, and Shaka's like, okay, but we're gonna get cut off. And he's like, nah, don't worry about it. We got this. We got plans.
You would think that, like, he could edit the video a little to get this out a little faster and not have Pythagoras and all that. But it's to like let everybody get their transponder snails ready, right?
Yeah, exactly. He's there trying to get like people ready for it while kind of making it lighthearted and stuff, so people don't get like super thrown off right away. So I think this is like a way for him to build trust with everybody in the world. Like, hey, look at me. I'm just like this goofy scientist, but here's this really important information.
Right. Yeah. So. And it's kind of, I mean, they use the words that everybody was like saying that this was a dead man's switch, meaning like when Vegapunk died, a switch was turned on and like this.
Yeah, and you can see it like in the last chapter. We see the computer screen flatlining again, and then not only that, Saturn comes like, dude, I saw like Kizaru murk this guy.
Yeah, he
like,
is dead.
He got shot. I stabbed him. He got shot in the chest again. There's no way this dude's alive.
Bro's dead. I think Vegapunk is gone.
That cauterizing wound theory, no chance.
Nah, he's dead. That guy's dead. So, rip Vegapunk. You know, we got what, 4 more of them, so he's not like gone.
Yeah.
But so we get to cut to, you know, everybody's freaking out. They can't take this transmission off. And we're cutting to everybody in the world. Even Luffy's like, hey, what's going on? Like he turns away in the middle of the battle, holding Kizaru and Saturn, no problem. By the way, we'll get into all the power scaling.
Does not care right now. He's so chill in this fight.
He's just like, oh, what's going on? Like, I hear this thing. Like, and Saturn. So an interesting thing that I think that a lot of people were speculating about Saturn before is that he was like, he's gone. Like his mind is gone, but clearly not. Right, like he's
So that was another thing in this chapter. Like, we saw him talking to the other Gorosei telepathically, but not actually speaking to anyone out loud ever. So I wonder if he's in that form, maybe that's something he can do, but then the others aren't in those forms, so why can they hear him?
I feel like
Is
it's
it just
something they can
always do.
Yeah.
Which is crazy then, but what are all of their devil fruits where they can speak telepathically? Or is it like somebody else's devil fruit, like emus or something?
Yeah, that goes back to the emu thing that we had been talking about, where that's what I think is that, like, I think Emu imparted these powers to them. You know, this summoning thing that happens at the end is crazy, and I think that ties into that. But I think that Saturn, you know, this kind of, we need to go back to the Blackbeard stuff that happened, because if he can talk to them telepathically, he can tell them right now, hey, Katarina Devon touched me, like, watch out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So,
and it removes the other theory of, even if she does manage to sneak in and look like Saturn, if she's not talking to the other Gorosei telepathically, they're gonna know, and there's no guarantee that she's going to be able to do that just because she looks like him, even if she has his devil fruit powers.
Right, so it might be more of like an audio thing that maybe she does to, and then like not like she turns into him visually, but it just like sounds like him. Or maybe it is true that she can take his powers in some way and she can speak telepathically, but we don't know. Any of this is all speculation, but I'm interested to see where like that goes, and see like where Saturn goes from here. So Saturn is definitely, he's getting back up like over and over and over. So the regeneration thing is no joke. Like, how are we gonna get rid of these people?
Yeah, Luffy was saying in this chapter, he's like, you just won't stay down, like nothing's working. I will say, one of the funny things when Luffy was fighting, he's like, looks like punches don't work, so he decides to kick them instead. It's like, bro, like, come on, you think that's gonna work too?
Yeah, so they're
like, I just love this childlike thinking that Luffy has constantly.
He's great. Yeah, like, I love all these attacks. Like the symbol thing, I thought that was fucking hilarious. Like,
yeah,
dude, bro tossed them like a pizza. Like,
it's Kizaru now.
Dude, yeah, he's making a joke out of Kizaru and Saturn at this point. Like, I think that we could pretty handily
confidently say Kizaru is not as strong as these people. Like, I mean, at least durability wise, Saturn is clearly winning right now. He's taking the same attacks and getting up instantly. Like, Luffy flattened him, and this guy came back flat and spinning through. I meant winning in terms of like defensive stats against compared to Kizaru. Yeah. Okay. Not against Luffy. They're all losing.
Yeah. Fair enough. And Luffy's like dodging. Even like, you know, he shoots the laser beams out of his eyes, and like while he's talking, you know, they're listening to everything, and he's like, oh my god, my punches don't damage you, and they're like, we're getting out of here. And so he, you know, Kizaru does his laser beam eyes, and Saturn tries to stab him.
The Leer thing
doesn't work, obviously, flattens them. Like, it's crazy, dude. Luffy's just like tossing admirals around.
He's just that guy. We're really about to find out if he's that guy, because kind of skipping towards the end here a little bit, the most hype part about the chapter, we can see the other Gorosei arriving, and that's insane.
Dude, I don't think
anyone expected this. No one expected there to be a single Gorosei on the island at the beginning of this arc, and then everyone's like, okay, one is crazy enough. This is an incident. All 5 of them are
This sounds like an incident now. Like, now I'm very much seeing like, okay,
what's crazy is I feel like we've also been saying that for a few chapters. This feels like an incident now, and then it keeps getting crazier and crazier.
Yeah. But now it like really feels like warranted. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we were all last chapter being like, okay, once Vegapunk like says the thing, like that's gonna be the inciting incident, and I'm sure that's the case. But this. They keep on taking it to the next level. It's so nuts. Like,
and one of the things about all of them arriving, so you got to assume all of them are, not even assume, you know, they're all arriving to stop this transmission, and they need to do it quick. So I wonder, because a lot of people were saying last chapter that it would be cool to find out what Vegapunk's about to say, but I feel like it'd make a lot more sense coming from like Robin or Saul or something.
Right.
Whereas maybe that does happen now. Maybe they find a way to stop the transmission where the people on the island might hear it, but not the whole world. And then after this, there's a story about trying to get this information out to everybody. Maybe Morgan's, we know, is there, and he somehow tries to get in and gets part of the scoop and starts telling people.
Right.
I think this just could lead to a lot of different scenarios. And we don't necessarily, after not seeing what Vegapunk had to say this chapter, I'm not 100% convinced that we're going to get it in this arc.
Yeah, I think
as much as I really want to.
Well, I think what's gonna probably happen is I don't think we can't get information. Like, I don't think it's gonna be a Clover situation where like we just get nothing. Which we didn't get nothing from Clover. We got like very, very, very sprinkled information. You know what I mean? But I think we're gonna get like whatever the next step, and then Vegapunk's gonna get cut off. But assuming,
I think that could be true also.
But like assuming that like he, you know, one of the Vegapunks lives, like we are gonna probably end up getting that information anyways if one of them goes with the Straw Hats, right?
Yeah. So, one of the other things I heard a lot of people saying is like whatever Vegapunk is about to say, it has to be so big that everyone is instantly like, oh my god, that's crazy. That's like what you know. And like if it's the name of the ancient kingdom, like what the name could be to be that big. But I don't think that's necessarily true. I feel like we could even get something where Vegapunk says the name of the ancient kingdom, and most people are just like
what the hell?
Huh?
Like,
What? Like,
yeah.
what does this even mean? And they're just kind of confused. And because he gets cut off right after like knowing about like, or just after saying the name of the ancient kingdom, he doesn't give context about it. So people know about it, but they don't have the context. And then that kind of stirs a frenzy and everyone starts trying to wonder, like, what does he mean by this? Like, what research do we have? And I think that's one direction it could go also.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it can go anything. Like, I think what I had said last time was that I think it's going to tie into the devil fruit somehow, like devil fruit origin in one way or another. But who knows? Like, you know, we're obviously left on a cliffhanger here. People thought we were getting it now. I don't even know if we're getting it next chapter now.
Yeah, I was expecting you to get a lot of questions answered this chapter. I was really hyped for that. And then we have even more questions than we started with. And that's One Piece for you.
I know. I do want to talk a little bit about what we think is going to happen from here as far as matchups and like how we're getting off of Egghead at this point, because
so I thought we were all kind of in agreement before, like, oh, it feels like they're winning, this is an escape plan at this point, and this kind of just changes the entire dynamic of that. Like, Lucci is still fighting Zoro. We still haven't seen the conclusion of that, sadly. And now there's 4 more opponents just as strong as Saturn here when it takes Luffy to take them on, and we know how crazy Luffy is.
Right, and it's like, you know, even if Luffy is like above both Saturn plus Kizaru, like, is he gonna be above all of these guys at the same time? Like, I don't know.
Especially, yeah, all at once.
I don't know,
like,
man.
I know in a lot of shonens, it's like, oh, if you're stronger than these people, you can take down as many, like, you can take thousands of them. But I don't think that's always true, especially if they have like tricky powers.
Yeah, these
like,
are
we
all
don't
weird
know what
powers.
they're gonna do.
Yeah, because they might all have like a different thing, you know. Like maybe they all have the telepathy thing and the regeneration thing, but they might not all have like, I don't know. He's got like the poison spikes or whatever, you know. So we'll see. I think that also, you know, this goes into like, are the Gorosei going down here? Like, is Saturn going down here, or is he getting out, or like what? Because we people have been talking about forever Zoro versus what's his name, you know, the one with the sword, right? And like people have been thinking that that's gonna be like
Samurai Gandhi.
Yeah, Samurai Gandhi. And people are thinking like that's gonna be like one of his matchups, right? Like end game matchups. And right now he's fighting Lucci, and it's like, okay, do we just like say, LOL, Lucci really was no diff at this point, and then he just like goes to one of these guys? Or is Lucci actually a real matchup for Zoro, and now this is just like an escape plan where they all just have to like get the fuck out of there, and then we're saving the Gorosei for later, and this is like the setup?
Yeah, and I will say that was one thing that felt weird up until this chapter, is even on their previous escape plans like Enies Lobby and Whole Cake Island, they weren't winning and escaping. They were losing and trying to get out of the situation. Well, I guess Enies Lobby, they kind of won already and were just escaping a Buster Call. But they weren't like, you know, taking full control of the fight at that point. Where here before this chapter, it felt like that. And this kind of shifts that dynamic, and it puts us into that part of the arc that we always get, where there's a ticking time bomb. Like, we had the bird cage, we had Onigashima falling on Wano. In Alabasta, a literal time bomb that Crocodile sent. So this puts us on a clock, and I think that really ramps up the tension in this part of the arc.
For sure, yeah. Because what did Vegapunk say? 10 minutes?
10 minutes, but you know, it's anime time, so that could be like another 15
minutes.
chapters. We've all seen Namek take 5 minutes to explode.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, I mean, this chapter is
one other thing
packed.
I wanted to mention, like, just as we kind of skipped a little past it, but how they were going to different places of people they've seen. 2 things. One, Dragon seems very calm about this for some reason. Like, I know he was informed by Vegapunk, like, hey, I'm gonna die. But he seems even still oddly calm about this information coming out. Like, even if he knows about it, wouldn't he be kind of like either freaking out or excited that everyone in the world is about to know about it? But he just seems
I don't know
like,
if he's freaking out or excited. I think he's just like contemplating about like what next moves of people higher up are going to be, or like, you know, obviously he's thinking about his friend that just died. You know, classic Dragon looking
also.
east, or I guess he was looking west in this panel. But you know, that's showing his scar and everything. Maybe this has to do something with
Yeah,
that.
maybe it somehow relates to that scar.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like,
And the
Dragon's
one
reaction
last thing,
didn't make me feel like he was. It didn't make me feel like weird about it. Like I think it's like a normal reaction from Dragon at this point, but I think he's kind of in like a wait and see. Like everybody else is like, oh my god, so stunned. Like, what's Vegapunk gonna do? He probably knows like what Vegapunk's, you know, more or less gonna say.
and actually,
and
just looking at it now,
planning.
most revolutionaries are kind of acting crazy. Like I said, the other one that's also not really surprised is Sabo. And we know Sabo is like Dragon's like right hand, like him and Eva-chan. And Eva is also not really freaking out. So I feel like they all know something. Maybe it relates to like Emu because Sabo was telling them about that. I don't know.
It could also
There's so
just
many
be that they're
directions
just
to
like
go.
stoic, you know, they're just like wait and see. I like also seeing, you know, we cut back around the world and we see you know, one thing that I thought was interesting that I don't know if I really ever thought of this in the One Piece world, but the fact that it's like nighttime on the other side of the world.
I thought that too when I saw Iceberg waking
Yeah.
up, but I was a little confused by that because most of the places they visit are on the same side of the world, meaning because a lot of the places they visited before getting to the red line is like, you know, half of the world, which means it should be daytime most of the time for those places at the same time.
Yeah.
But who knows? This stuff works different in
I
anime.
mean, we're on the other side of the world technically than where Water 7 is, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I could see that this being the case.
But then wouldn't like Fuchsia Village also be
No,
nighttime?
because it was more
then?
east. It was,
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's too much to think about, honestly.
Yeah,
I
it's
just
just
thought it
not
was
whatever.
funny.
Same, yeah. We get to see Rebecca like training with Leo, which means Leo made it back just fine.
Which also kills my theory about how the Tatatas were the ones that
I
got
told you
liberated
that was not
food.
fucking happening. Dude,
I knew it wasn't
anybody
really gonna
that
be
thinks
true, but
still that the Grand Fleet is pulling up right here is fucking wrong. Like, I'm sorry. That's not happening.
watch you be so wrong next chapter.
Dude, next
but no, I
chapter,
definitely
Grand
agree
Fleet
with
pops
it. Yeah, I don't think the Grand Fleet's pulling up.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
I think we have all the players now that the Gorosei arrived. I really didn't see them showing up, so I really don't see anyone else showing up. But who knows? Maybe that's Oda's next big surprise.
Yeah, what if Shanks pulls up next?
No, not again. Not 2 arcs in a row.
Yeah, Shanks is like, oh, I'm back again. Luffy, get out of here. But what if Dragon pops up, bro? This is the one.
He's too far away. There's no way.
No, this is the chapter, bro. This is the one where he shows up.
This is the one. But yeah, overall, fantastic chapter.
It was
There's
great.
only one downside about this chapter.
Oh my god. Say it.
There's a break next week.
No.
But we've gotten 3 chapters in a row. I was kind of expecting it. This is the normal schedule.
Yeah.
Sucks that it's on such a big cliffhanger again. But honestly, I'd rather end on this chapter than the last chapter because I was itching from last chapter. At least
Because this gives us something to chew on. You know, like we gotta talk about the Gorosei more. I definitely want to talk about the cover story more. There's gonna be more videos coming out, I think, from us. Like I have things to say about this chapter beyond what we said now, but. You know, let us know what you guys think. Fight us in the comments. Go check out our
you
other
guys did a
videos.
great time fighting us in the comments last time. We love it. We appreciate all of you
Dude,
guys.
that other video, the funniest thing is that literally we said like nothing bad about Sanji. It was just like
People got baited by the title. They fell for the bait.
Yeah,
It was great.
Sorry, y'all. We'll give you a better title next time to chew on, but it was really entertaining. I'll say that.
Yeah, keep them coming.
Yeah,
so
keep
don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, and as usual, fight us in the comments.
Fight us in the comments, y'all. Peace out.
Peace.